What's up, survivors? My name is Cap the Everyday Gamer, and welcome to 7 Days to Die. I've had a lot of people talk to me over the year of playing this game, whatever, and say they've had a lot of problems, especially new players, with dying early on or finding it hard to actually survive. And so I thought I would kind of put together a few tutorials and teach you guys a couple things. First things first, this is all done in Alpha 10.4. So if you happen to be watching this down the road somewhere and you see that something I'm doing doesn't work right or it's changed a little bit, just keep in mind that anytime they put out major releases, sometimes things change. Okay, first things first, while I'm here, if you happen to see yourself spawn into this area, this giant area right here, known as the Wastelands, find a direction where there's green trees and run. Get out of there as fast as possible. You do not want to be in this area because these little buggers down here will eat you alive. The dogs. This is the only place that they spawn in here and in the big towns, or barns if you happen to find a farmland or whatever like that, but they will kick your butt so bad. So if you find yourself in the Wastelands, get out of there as quick as possible and find yourself some trees. Also, you may think to yourself, hey, I'll just head into the main town. If you go to over there off 00 on your map here, if you scroll all the way over to about 00, right around this area here, you're going to find the main city with all the buildings, all the apartments, everything there. You don't want to go there, not for a little while. You are completely unprepared and you will die. Next thing you want to do real quick is all the stuff that starts you off with, your water, food, bandages, torch, and land claim block, put them in your backpack, because by default, if you die without changing any settings, it just removes stuff on your tool belt, but everything in your backpack stays as is. So when and if you die the first day, you won't lose everything you have. Alrighty then, now once you've got yourself to a much safer area, you can go into crouch mode by, hitting your crouch button. You can see if you're detected, undetected, hunted, or sensed. So when you know you're undetected, nothing sees you, nothing's coming after you, you're pretty much safe. So now that we're over here, the only things you have to worry about during the daytime is the actual normal level of zombies, and they're not too bad to deal with. They move pretty slow, you can outrun them. So I'm going to show you just a couple of the first tools and weapons you can get the very first day to help you survive. Worrying about food and water right off the bat is a good way to die, and you're probably not going to find any guns. So what you want to do is wander around till you can find some of these dead bushes, and then just proceed to punch it. It only takes a few times and you'll get some sticks. You only need a couple to start with. As you're wandering around, you see all these small stones laying around. They're pretty much everywhere. I mean, you can kind of find them in newer versions of the game. There's not as many as there used to be. They're kind of a little bit more sparse, but as you can see, there's still plenty to find here. So just pick up as many of these as you can to start with. Still undetected, good to go. And then just go to punching some grass here. Any of the grass that's growing up out of the ground, you can see, and then you'll be able to pick up actual grass. And I'll show you what you're doing with all this and make the first tool that you actually want to go with here. So you got your grass, put it in your crafting menu. It's going to give you some plant fibers. You'll need just a couple to start with. Really, for your first tool, you only need one. Now, any of your small stones, put them in here and craft them, and they'll give you sharp stones. And here we go. Now that we got some sticks, sharp stones, and plant fibers, you only really need one of each to start with. Drop a stick in the middle, plant fire up top right here, and one sharp stone above you, and you can get yourself a stone axe. It's pretty much like a caveman sort of tool, but this is a really good one to have off the the very beginning here, because you can see if you highlight it, you can actually do entity damage. It's only 10, but considering the only other weapon you have right now is your bare fist, and punching zombies is pretty much kind of pointless, it's really good to actually have. So now that you have your axe, one of the next things you want to do is just go to town and start beating up some trees. Some of these trees, the bigger they are, obviously, and the less stamina you have, the longer it takes to chop them down. But this is how you're going to get a lot of your material. In the very beginning of the game, you're going to need a lot of wood to just try and get things going. Eventually, you're going to need a lot of wood because you'll need it for being able to make some kinds of structures, if you're going to build yourself a house. But you see, you can actually collect some wood logs there. Go ahead and pick up another rock or two while we're here. Alright, now after you have some wood logs here, you can just put a couple of them up in here to break them down into wood planks. Now keep in mind that doing crafting stuff does make a little bit of noise, so if there's zombies nearby, they might actually hear you, and you'll go from being undetected to hunted, just like that. So just keep that in mind, as if you wonder why all of a sudden they keep finding you out of nowhere, it might just be because you're making too much noise. And once again, these one or two at a time is not too big a deal. You can kind of deal with them. Now, something else you need to do to get your first set of weapons and stuff is when you come across trash or bird's nest lands on the ground stuff, be sure to search them, because you never know. You might be able to find some feathers like this. You're going to need feathers for your first set of weapons here. Now we're going to run off here and see if we can go get lost real quick. And then once you have some wood planks, you can drop just a couple of them back in here. You see for each wood plank you get three sticks, so go ahead and get as many of these. You're going to need about 8 to start with, so we can get those crafting real quick. Make sure you still have some sharp stones and some feathers, and I'll show you the next set of tools that you're going to be making here to survive. Alright, so the first weapon you're going to make is actually a crossbow. It's one of the best weapons you're going to find in the game. It's a one-shot kill to the head for almost every zombie in the game, especially during the day when they're moving a lot slower and it's a lot easier to work. And all you have to do is just type in up here at the top. Make sure I'm still undetected. And type in up here at the top what you're looking for, and then you can click it and it'll show you the recipe that you need to have there. Mine's autofilling because I made one of these before, so I can show you what it looks like. 2 plant fibers and 8 sticks, and then start the crafting process. Okay, crossbow has been made. Now all you need to do is to make bolts, and this is where you're going to want to pick up as many sharp stones as you possibly can, because you can see for each bolt it needs 1 sharp stone. So we'll put as many up here as we have. We only have 1 feather or 2 feathers, so we'll be able to make just a couple bolts here. And that's all there is to it here. And now you have yourself a little bitty sniping rifle. Only got 2 bolts, but it only takes 1 shot to the head to kill any of the zombies. If you right click it, you can see you got a nice little red dot scope there. Let's see if we can shoot him, see what it looks like here. And he's dead. Okay, now if you want to be able to make a melee weapon, a really easy way to do this is to pick up these empty cans. You can find them on anything from zombies to trash to boxes to nests to everything. So you have to have at least 2 at a time here. You put 2 in and it gives you, put 2 in and gives you 1. So basically put in 8 cans here and you'll get 4 pieces of scrap iron here. And what we'll need with that is, I'll show you, got the 4 pieces. Now what you can make is a iron reinforced club. First you have to spell it properly. Iron Reinforced Club is a really good melee tool. Only takes the 4 sticks here and 4 pieces of reinforced iron. You got a nice melee weapon there. This does a whole lot more damage than the axe that you're working with down here, so you don't have to try and use your tool that you would usually use for chopping down trees. See, this one does entity damage 10 damage, 9 block damage, but it also does blunt force trauma, so you have a chance to really knock the crap out of them here. And like I said, it also saves on making yourself have to use your tools to take out the zombies themselves. And that's really about it. I'm not going to go into too much more. We'll save all that for the next tutorial here, but hopefully this helped you out at least get started on day 1. Got yourself a tool, you got yourself a ranged weapon and ammo to go with it, and a nice melee weapon here. Next up, we'll probably move on to showing you guys how to make some food and how to start cooking it here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them down below. You guys have a good one, and I will talk to you later.